It's the Lions now on the clock. And the Eagles on the clock now. Let's see what direction they go. Now we turn to the Eagles. They're on the clock. Okay, it's the Cowboys now on the clock. The Chargers up now. They're on the clock. On the clock now, it's the Texans, and time is ticking. All right, now on the clock, the Texans. The Falcons on the clock now. Let's see who they have their eye on. All right, next up, the Jets are on the clock. Okay, the Giants up now. They're on the clock. The Lions on the clock now. What direction will they go? All right, now on the clock, the Giants. On the clock now, it's the Packers, and time is ticking. All right, it's the Steelers, now on the clock. Okay, next up, it's the Packers on the clock. And now we turn to the Bengals. It's their selection. Now we turn to the Browns. They're on the clock. Okay, here we go. The Jets now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Panthers now on the clock. The Titans on the clock now. Let's see who they have their eye on. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Wizards are now on the clock. Okay, the Jaguars are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. Okay, it's the Patriots on the clock now. The Chiefs on the clock now. The Bucks on the clock now. Let's see who they have their eye on. It's the Lions now on the clock. Okay, here we go. The Colts now on the clock. Okay, the Texans up now. They're on the clock. All right, on the clock now, the Cowboys. Chargers now on the clock. And the Texans now on the clock. Who do they have their eye on? On the clock now, it's the Falcons. All right, now it's the Raiders' turn. They're up. The Jets now on the clock. Let's see what they do. The Cardinals are now on the clock. All right, the Bears are now on the clock. All right, now on the clock, the Rams. And the Giants now on the clock. Who do they have their eye on? The Bills are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Bengals now on the clock. Let's see what they do. All right, it's the Browns now on the clock. The Seahawks are on the clock now. All right, on the clock now, the Saints. The Jets now on the clock. All right, next up, the Falcons are on the clock. All right, it's the Eagles now on the clock. The 49ers now on the clock. And now on the clock, it's the Vikings. The Patriots are now on the clock. Okay, the Chiefs are on the clock now. All right, next up, the Bucks are on the clock. All right, on the clock now, the Lions. And now we turn to the Colts. It's their selection. On the clock now, it's the Giants, and time is ticking. The Cowboys now on the clock. Now on the clock, the Chargers. All right, the Packers are now on the clock. The 49ers on the clock now. What direction will they go? Okay, here we go. The Raiders now on the clock. And now we turn to the Jets. It's their selection. The Cardinals on the clock now. What direction will they go? Okay, the Bears are on the clock now. Okay, it's the Rams up now. They're on the clock. The Giants are on the clock now. The Cowboys on the clock now. What direction will they go? On the clock now, it's the Chargers, and time is ticking. Okay, the Panthers on the clock now. It's the Cowboys now on the clock. And the Chargers now on the clock. Who do they have their eye on? The Bears are now on the clock. Okay, it's the Cowboys now on the clock. Okay, the Chargers up now. They're on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. All right, on the clock now, the Cowboys. All right, next up, the Colts are on the clock. And the Rams now on the clock. Who do they have their eye on? All right, the Broncos are now on the clock. Okay, it's the Falcons now on the clock.